communication is something that we learn from people that we're raised with throughout our entire lives. But have you ever taken a step back and asked yourself, how can I be the most effective communicator possible? What do I need to learn to communicate as effectively as possible? And we've all heard it. Communication is the number one key for any relationship, whether that's a romantic relationship, whether that's your friendships, your family, your children, any other breathing human. Basically, if they can fog a cup because they're breathing, this that I'm going to teach you today will deepen your connection with other people and your communication with them. The problem is that most of us were never actually taught how to communicate. It's not something that we're born with. It is a skill set. And so for me, when I was younger, I realized I'm a really bad communicator. I'm shy. I don't communicate effectively. How can I become a better communicator? Because human connection is amazing. When you're really connected with another person in a great conversation, your body releases dopamine, it releases oxytocin. You feel good about it. And so let's try to get better at being communicators. So first off, what we need to know is communication, as I said, is a skill. It's not a talent. What it does is it takes practice. And according to the American Psychological Association, EQ, which is emotional intelligence, is one of the strongest predictors of relationship satisfaction. And communication is where EQ becomes visible. And so what I'm going to take you through is something that Dr. Carol Comfer came up with, and it's the key to communication. And it is an acronym. It is LUV. And so I'm going to take you through L and U and V. So the first part, L, stands for listen. To listen to another human with no need to respond, no opinions, no extra input, to just listen. Empathetic presence is the act of being fully present with another person, not just physically in the same room as them, but emotionally present with them, mentally present with them. And what that means is when you're in a conversation with somebody, setting aside your own thoughts, your own judgments, your own beliefs, and any distractions that might be in the way of this other person. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere, and everybody's got an opinion. But to be fully present with another person when they're talking with you shows that you value them and you respect them, even if you say nothing. If you want to be a better communicator, the first thing you need to do is shut up. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense because you think like, oh, I need to be a better public speaker. I need to say bigger words, or maybe I need to say something more effectively or communicate a specific way. No, we need to shut up. It creates a safe space where the other person feels seen and heard. So many people just want to be seen and heard nowadays. So put distractions away, put your phone away, get other devices away, make eye contact with the other person that's in front of you, square up your shoulders with them, nod, show that you're listening to them every single step of the way. The most value that you can give someone in a conversation is silence. I don't know if you've ever been in this situation before where you sit down with somebody and they're a really big talker and they talk like 90% of the conversation, and then you get done and they're like, well, that was such a great conversation. And you're like, I didn't say anything, right? So what I want you to do is to listen better, to give them space, to sit there without judgment. And I get it. As a guy, this can be really hard because men, we always want to try to fix things. So if someone comes to us with their problems, we're always like, what can I do to fix it? Let me put on my Bob the Builder hat. Listening is a skill. Don't try to fix problems. And the easiest way to do this and to get better at listening is to know that when that person is done talking, you're going to count to 3 without responding. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. Reason why is because when you just jump in and you say what you wanted to say, you don't listen to them in the first place. And at the same time, what usually happens is if you give someone extra space, they'll usually continue to start talking again, and they will go deeper, and you'll get to know them even deeper because they went deeper. And we will be right back. Hey, I want to interrupt today's episode to tell you about my sponsor. It is myself. If you didn't know, I obviously have some coaching programs outside of the podcast to help you learn and grow and become a better version of yourself. Step-by-step programs and processes to help you become better in your life and create the life that you want. If you want to learn more about it, you can go to coachwithrob.com. Once again, coachwithrob.com. Check it out. And let's get back to the episode. And according to Harvard Business Review, there was a study that was done, and they found that people who felt actively listened to by their managers were 80% more likely to report trust and psychological safety with that person. So practicing the wait time, that intentional 3-second pause before speaking, increases understanding, slows down reactivity within yourself and within them. And what's weird about it, according to studies, it actually makes the other person feel smarter because they're given more time and they're allowed to process. And so psychologists call this low arousal communication. It's used in therapy. It's used in trauma-informed parenting. It's lower volume, slower pace, fewer words. All of those equal higher trust. And so a pro tip that I can give you that one of my first mentors really gave me is stop trying to be interesting and be interested. Stop trying to be interesting and be interested. And if you do that, you will be a much better communicator and people will feel like you're a much better communicator. So that is the L. Okay. Next one is U stands for understand. While words convey the surface message, the nonverbal cues like body language and tone and facial expressions often carry the emotional weight of the conversation. And so verbal and nonverbal is what you need to think of. So a really interesting thing years ago when I was younger, I had a manager, his name was Jeff. And, there was like over 700 offices in the company that I was in. There was men and there were women. And Jeff was the #1 developer of female managers. He had more female managers than any other person in the entire United States, including other female managers. And so I asked him, because I was like, hey man, what's the difference between men versus women? And he's like, I want you to read this book. It was a book called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And I read it to understand how our brains work differently, how we think differently, how we communicate differently. And I also saw a study as I started researching this. There's